Good evening. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Tuesday, and we're at the 6th of May, 2025, 6:10 p.m. Central Time. You are up some $80, almost $90, over $100 at one point in the gold. I think it was $100 on the close. Tonight, you're down about a third of that. This is a bounce off the low at 33.89 at 25.60. Silver didn't keep pace on the upside, shouldn't keep pace on the downside. Copper's holding on, and we'll get into all that in a minute here. Now, we have news that we should talk about. First, you're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association at 6 in the morning. The Federal Reserve at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is going to give us what the statement is and the press conference. Markets widely expect. I don't know any analyst that thinks they're going to make a cut at this point in time, and we will see just how hawkish the Fed chair sounds. Then at 2 in the afternoon, we're going to get the Federal Reserve releasing their March U.S. consumer credit data. That'll come out. It's an interesting thing. They're doing that at 2, and that's right at the same time that we'll probably have the press conference going on. Now, this is what's moving the markets tonight. Senior U.S. Chinese representatives and Chinese representatives will meet face-to-face this weekend in Geneva. Let me explain that. We are talking Jameson Greer and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. So it's going to be senior level. Didn't we just hear the president say we're in no hurry to talk to him today when he was with Mark Carney? You can't believe anything you hear is what the problem is. And that sets us all off tone because we don't know what's going on. There are still no trade deals. The president said today in a press conference with Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, that there'll be a major announcement either Thursday, Friday, the weekend, or Monday. Who knows? Didn't we hear that there would be deals? And by the way, he said that this is not necessarily on a trade deal, so I have no idea what that is. When you saw the press conference with Prime Minister Carney, what a different tone and what a different way of handling this. The president, again, can't resist it, the 51st state of Canada. And as Prime Minister Carney so smartly said, well, not everything's for sale. And, the president jibed with me. He said, well, I don't think that the White House is for sale. And even the president laughed at that one. And it got along, you could see, much better and a lot of respect between the two men. Keep your fingers crossed that something's good. Canada's not sitting still, by the way. Their exports to the U.S. are way down. Their exports abroad went up 25%, so they are not sitting still. Now there are problems there as some of the provinces would like to break away that are lumber-rich, mineral-rich, away from general Canada. Again, it's always Quebec in some areas. We will see just what's going to happen there one way or the other. But it's an interesting time. This was the big news as I saw it. I first heard it on Fox, and then I saw the others pick up on it. That has kicked up the stock market tonight. That is behind probably the drop here. Most of the currencies are starting to drop on that news against the dollar. You probably get a little bit of a lift off of that. As we take a look at the energies, they too got a bounce. And yesterday was so interesting because they went down in the energies to their lower Bollinger Band and held. You're sort of flat right now going into the bonds and notes into the FOMC meeting. And last but not least, you're getting a good bounce in Bitcoin, which is up $1,220 right now. So let's take a look at chart action and see what we have. In the gold, a whopper. I mean, you are now up 5% for the week, $167. So this market has given you a huge reversal taking place at this point in time, and that was on a weekly chart. Now, and by the way, that is the weekly. I'm still using the bar chart. Sometimes they give you an area chart, that's a bar. On the daily bar chart, you can see what the market's doing. Let's go back a day. This will give you an idea how much you gained. $100.50. That's pretty big. And by the way, at $34.22, it was $20 off the high. So this market just shot up Is it going to be able to get through here? Does it want to get through there? I don't have the answers to that right here. I don't think anybody does right now. When I look at what we have, it is not trending. What you have is a lower low, higher high. Take the name off the chart. Look at the chart. An uptrend's made of higher highs and higher lows. What we do have is upside bias, and I've pointed out to you that when the market fell down here, I said don't be surprised if it fights a battle at the 18-day average looking for the next direction. Well, that direction is up. What do you think is causing the market to stall out? Look where the Bollinger Band is, right at that top area. So I think the professional money, not knowing that, even today, intraday, might have been looking. And tonight, when the market reopened at 5, my guess is, and I don't know, my guess is the pros would take money off there and say, okay, let's take a look and see what happens next. When you look at momentum, pointing up. But when you got down here, hit the 18-day average, you were very oversold. The silver-gold ratio favors again, and I think you see that clearly, that you're over the 18-day average, so gold is stronger than silver, even on this decline. When you look at silver, you can see it came into all these moving averages. And I've been telling my clients in my morning subscriber video that, that's a rough zone to try to be a short or anything from. What's it going to do? Well, you can see it's lifted its head up, basically. Today, as the market finished the day off, it was up nearly 2.75%, up some 90 cents. That's not bad action. To me, that's almost $1 gain an ounce. That's a lot in this market, and it's giving back a little bit tonight. Now, China has called a meeting for tomorrow. By the time I'm through tonight, with the hours difference and the time zones, could be going on for all I know. And they are going to announce things they're going to do from the banks and so on to spur the economy on. There has been, as you know, a mad rush out on the Asian countries dumping dollars, U.S. dollars. So that's something that's been going on, and they're watching that. It could be the reserves that the banks are going to have taken down. It could be interest rates taken down. They might want to let the yuan go up a little bit in value here. I don't know. We're going to find out, but it's an unusual meeting from the senior people in the government. We'll see what goes on, and that's why I think copper is hanging here. It wants to see, are they going to be involved in that? The interesting thing is the copper users have gotten very aggressive in bidding for copper on the open market, and that's taken the market back up. And again, I'm not surprised that one break that we had into the 18 and 100-day averages, if you follow my theory, that's where I think the market was going to try to figure out what to do. And it just latched onto that 18-day average, and it's there. It's not trending. It's hanging in with an upside bias. In the platinum, you want to get yourself into trouble. This is the place to do it. Up, down, sideways, and as I pointed out yesterday, you're narrowing in these Bollinger Bands. I look for that to restrain the market. The market is now getting up into the territory where any reading over 70 is overbought, and that's what you have. And in the dollar, you've got lower highs, lower lows, but as I just said, the dollar might get a bid early tonight now that we know that there is actually going to be a face-to-face meeting with China. They're not going to solve anything in the first meeting. If you think they're going to walk away with the deal, you're dreaming. But the thaw is happening, and both sides can say, why are we shooting ourselves in the foot? Let's lower tariffs for a bit without a deal and get things going again. That's the most I think you can hope for, but boy, that would be a good thing. And we're already seeing it. China's already hurt themselves with Boeing. They said they're tariffing everything at 145%, and then they said, no, we need certain medicines, we need other things. There's some logic taking place again. I want to remind you that on the S&P, I did a special report, and it's still up on the website, so don't forget it. I think it comes off midnight tonight or midnight tomorrow. I don't know if it's tonight that it goes off. I have a feeling it's midnight on Wednesday because I put it up on a Friday, and I want it to be after I put it up 3 business days. Just click right there. When you do so, you'll be taken where you have to go. On the website. Go to iraepstein.com to do that. Not in this video, obviously, but if you're in the video, there'll be a dot up here. give that a click. You'll see it's a circle with an eye. That'll take you below this video if you're on YouTube. Everything you need is right there. Give it a click and away you go. I'm Ira. I'll catch up with you all in the morning. Whoa, it's getting interesting, and there's a lot to talk about each and every day now. Take care.